This channel is intended for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to Dolly Babbles, a channel where we talk about doll and toy collecting. Today I wanted to talk about a playset that I got. It's very obscure, but it's very nostalgic for me. So before I talk about it, I need to introduce you to the Rubbadubbers. It's a show that I have very fond childhood memories of. According to Wikipedia, quote, Rubbadubbers is a British stop-motion children's television series. The series was broadcast in the UK on BBC Two from 2002 to 2005, and broadcast on Nickelodeon, Noggin, and on PBS Kids Sprout. I recently found out that this show is up for free on YouTube, and it got me thinking about this bath playset that I had. Which, side note, this shows the main characters who were also bath toys in the show. So it was a truly fantastic product design. When I went to look it up, I had a really hard time finding it, as in the playset. And it was really hard to figure out the playset name, let alone to find like videos of it or like a listing of someone reselling it. I was able to find this image, which is from Worth Point, which told me that the playset's name is Bath Time Bubbles Playset, which is incredibly generic and explains some of the struggle I was having. And then on eBay, I found the playset on the back of a different toys box, the talking tub toy. I have a bit of a thing for finding obscure toys online. I really pride myself in being good at it. So it was driving me up a wall that this playset for a popular children's show just seemingly disappeared. And that these two images were all I could find. So I saved Rubbadubbers as a search term on eBay and kind of gave up. But after a while, it popped up. I debated buying it. But in the end, I felt like I would regret it if I didn't. So here's a video of me getting the box. I really anticipated this to be in rough shape. It's a bath toy. So, it's going to be exposed to a lot of grime and water, which is the perfect environment to grow lots of nasty little things. So that's why I laid out a towel to catch anything gross. I'm just trying to be careful opening this box because I didn't want to cut anything important. I did also open this box upside down because my address is on the other side. I would have liked it if this was a little better packaged, since I had so much trouble finding it, but I understand that the seller might not have realized that this is so hard to find. So I was just looking over it to make sure there was nothing broken or wrong. I realized that the green alligator, Terrence, his belly is a push button, which I had forgotten. So this is just an up-close look. There's some soap scum, which I couldn't tell if it was soap scum or scuffed paint. You can't really see, but I did use the flashlight to look inside of Winona's blowhole, because that's a good area for things to collect. We do have some chipped paint on Finbar. Yeah, there's some soap scum in here. Then I'm looking at the back. There's some dirt in the crevices, but In general, this is in pretty good shape. This is where there was a suction cup that matched that one, but it looks like it kind of got torn off. This is the, I guess, engraving. So even though it came in much better shape than I was expecting, I still want to clean it. You never know what's going to be on something like this, especially with Winona here, being that she has one tiny hole to the inside and it's hard to see in there. So I'm just running some warm water and gently putting in all of the characters and the playset. You'll notice Finbar has like a blue plastic cup on the bottom. He's also extremely heavy and does not float. I don't remember that, and it's really interesting because the other two can float, and so I'm not sure why they decided not to make him float. But yeah, I don't remember that. Then again, I would have been between the ages of 2 and 5. Now, one weird thing that happened was that on the front where Winona pops into the playset, it didn't have any marking before, but it gains like a yellow ring afterwards. After I do some things, which you will see here soon, which is very frustrating. But I'll take it to know that everything's clean. So I'm just adding some white vinegar into this water so it'll be diluted. And the point is that white vinegar, when left to sit, I believe for an hour, I'd have to look it up again, can kill off funguses. So if there's any mold anywhere in the playset, hopefully it could kill it. So I'm just going to leave it sit in the vinegar, occasionally moving it around. I'm also adding just some dish soap, mostly for the smell. I really don't like the smell of vinegar. And then to keep my hands from super drying out, I'm going to use gloves to agitate the water, and to like squeeze Winona to get water into her. So this is just me pushing the water and air out of her and then filling it up with the soapy and vinegary water so that it can soak. I did this multiple times, turning her on different sides just to really try and disinfect the inside because I can't really get in there and scrub. I was very gentle with rubbing on the areas that had soap scum. Again, this is an old playset, so I don't want to scratch off any of the paint. This little bubble here spits soap out when you press on Terrence's belly. You can see the air bubbles coming out, so I really wanted to run some of the water through the system, try and clear it out that way. Now I'm using a little scrubber just to get this back corner of the slide. I didn't have much luck, but there's just like a layer of dirt in that very inner crevice. Now that it's done soaking, I'm taking out some of these back screws. to try and gain some access to the tougher areas to like scrub and clean. This particular area, like I mentioned before, is where that suction cup snapped off. And so I'm also going to need access in order to replace this suction cup. So here's me just taking out all of the screws, trying to figure out which ones hold things in. I apologize for the camera missing part of what I'm doing here. There we go. I did use the X-Acto knife to pop open the container. It has the mechanism that when you push on Terrence's stomach, it compresses. Well, it lets in water and compresses this line, which pushes the water up through this opening to make some soapy bubbles. This is me trying my hardest to get the remaining broken off piece of the suction cup out. It was in there really, really well. I was afraid I was going to hurt myself because I tried using pliers earlier and I couldn't get a good grip on it. So I figured maybe if I used the non-sharp edge of an X-Acto knife, I could kind of catch it, like dig into it better to get a grip. But of course, you know, even though it's the non-sharp edge, it's still sharp. And the only way I could get good enough pressure was pushing in towards me, which you're not supposed to do. So, you know, the things we do to try and restore. I ended up plopping everybody into the water to soak for a little while and hoping that the water would loosen up the hold it had on that suction cup, which did end up working. Now, I'm trying to show you that there is a little bit of like corrosion on the screws. So I have them here in this little tub that I'm going to soak with diluted vinegar and then scrub with a brush to try and get that corrosion off. This is probably unnecessary, but you know, if I'm going to take it apart, I want to make sure I do my best with it. So there's the vinegar. And then I'm going to... And then I take it over to fill it with water. So I did keep the clip of me pulling out the bit, I guess. So here was me trying with pliers after it had soaked. And it's just really hard to get a grip on. Just really putting my all into it, and it just does not want to budge. Felt like it was going to rip more than anything, which would, I guess, be progress, but it would be nice if it came out all in one piece. So I decided to speed it up and pop. So now I'm showing you the piece in not sped up mode. So now I'm rinsing, I'm sorry, not rinsing. I'm scrubbing down the playset with soap and water after all of the vinegar has been drained. You'll notice my sponge has its corner cut off. That's just so that we all know it's a cleaning sponge and not a dishwashing sponge. Just trying to get in all the nooks and crevices. That's one thing about doing playset and doll and stuffed animal restoration is all of this takes so much time and physical effort. I really enjoy it. That's why I do it, but it does take so much time. This is just me showing you, now that it's all cleaned off, you can see I got in that crevice really nice. And then I have to put in all of my screws. So now we have all of our cleaned up guys. Obviously, he still has a paint chip. Under Winona, you can see on that back end there's like a yellowish shadow, which I don't think was there before, which sucks, but you know, at least she's clean. There's still some like soap scum on the paint, but I didn't want to scrub it too hard to get that off. So now I added this attachment back on, which is what those extra screws were for, and put on a hook suction cup, which isn't what it used to have, but it is a solution. So here's it in action. When you pour water into the top spins, you can make him go down the slide. You can put soap in this top bubble and press on Terrence's stomach in order to make it bubble up. And you can have him float in the sponge. This is a little weird because it can also like fully sink because it has the holes in it. So it's a little tricky, but it's still fun. And Winona can float as well, except for Finbar. He sinks like a rock. So thank you for watching. It wasn't as fun, I guess, as if it had come really, really dirty, but it's better for me, and I'm really happy to see this playset again after all of these years. It's funny the things that you latch onto from childhood, and if by chance one of you had this playset too, I hope it's nice to get to see it up close again. So if you'd like to hear more of my babbles, don't forget to subscribe. But I'm all babbled out for today. See you next time.